Hey friends, Brian King here. I received a message on Facebook from a parent this morning, and I want to share her concern and give you my response. Because this is a category of student that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And that is the category of twice exceptional, meaning your child has an area of giftedness, but also has the ADD or ADHD or dyslexia or something that really gets in the way of being able to live and express and execute on that giftedness. And one of the concerns of this parent is that when going into, depending on where you live, the 504 plan, the IEP, when going into the meeting, the concern is that the school is going to recommend behavioral modifications and medication. And I'll tell you, without reservation, I'm not a fan of either, okay? Because both of those interventions, if you will, or strategies are based on the needs of everybody else. They're based on the needs of the teacher who wants to maintain control in the classroom. And I'm not saying that this is the teacher being inflexible. I'm saying it's the nature of the system where you have 30 plus kids in a classroom. And if they don't all come together and cooperate and work as a unit, the teacher cannot do his or her job. And yes, the teacher would love the opportunity to work with your child on an individual level and meet their needs, as well as the other possibly 10 kids with IEPs in that classroom. So what's being asked of the teachers these days is utterly ridiculous. So I just want to say that, okay? So when it comes to the mindset of the school system and what you want for your child, it's difficult to find a coming together point. Not impossible, but often difficult because your needs are different. You're looking at your child who is full of energy, full of wonder, maybe very creative, very intelligent or intuitive. And that's stuff that's fantastic in the entrepreneurial space. Somebody who is educating themselves in the world and is able to pursue whatever their heart pulls them towards. Then you have school where none of that stuff I just described is encouraged or supported. Instead, it's replaced with do what you're told, when you're told to do it, how you're told to do it, or you're going to get a sticker or a mark or a demerit or whatever it is. So all of the stuff you see that's beautiful in your child, that could very well be the foundation of a career as somebody that revolutionizes. This isn't going to be true for every kid with ADHD, but our dream is that they're going to be a disruptor of some kind. They're going to innovate. Or if they're not a disruptor, maybe they're just somebody who brings that inquisitiveness and creative essence to a workspace that allows them to do things in a new, more exciting way. Whatever they turn out to do with their unique giftedness, I promise you that the school system maybe pays lip service to that, but in practice really doesn't encourage it. Because it's all about sit straight, do what you're told, when you're told to do it, how you're told to do it, like I said. So you have to make some decisions. Is school something you want your child to survive, endure, or thrive in? In my personal opinion, okay, I emphasize that because I only have my experiences. I only have the experiences that my clients have shared with me. But it is possible if you have a principal and a teacher that are open-minded in how to incorporate our kids' unique way of being into the classroom culture. If they're open-minded to that and can start introducing more movement breaks for the class and allow your child to wander in the back of the room or sit in a beanbag or do something more sensory so that she is grounded, centered, and can focus the best she can without having to put a straitjacket on her natural creativity through either medication or shaming her into compliance through behavior modification. So there are ways to support your child within the system. It's going to be hard to explain to her, however, why certain things are being asked of her. Why does she need to follow rules that don't make sense? Now, why does she need to go along with everybody else on occasion when you encourage her, don't follow the crowd, do your own thing? Some of that can be confusing. And it can be a very delicate balancing act. But when you are dealing with a school system that is pretty behind the times as far as its thinking around what's important to teach kids, what kind of skills that need to be developed, whether you even emphasize their strengths or not, which tend to be second or at the expense of a much more liberal education, much more spread out, so to speak. So I've said a lot in this time, but the gist of it is essentially who your child shows up as in the world. If your child is creative, full of wonder, energetic, but can't really do anything with that because there's so much impulse, there's so much scatter, there's just so much randomness, your child absolutely needs some skills to help identify which of the shiny objects to chase, as opposed to chasing all of them. And maybe this is something that you could use for yourself as well, because we know the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? So which things do you chase? What kind of strategies do you put in place so that once you've grabbed onto it and decided to pursue it, what's going to make sure that you stay with it, that you follow through? If you get stuck, do you have the self-advocacy and the confidence skills to ask for help? So there are things that your child must learn. We don't want a feral child running loose in the world, because then they can't make things happen. They don't have the tools. But on the other side, we don't want them to think that school is what prepares them for a society. No, school prepares our kids for factory work. Be very clear about that. Factory work, or maybe moving on to college where they're taught more about how to sit still, do what you're told, listen to your supervisor, maybe think outside the box a little bit, but you get my point here. There's a balance between what society expects for you to fall in line, follow along, and then there's what society is really asking for, which is a better way to show up in this world and experience life more fully. And I have little doubt that kids like yours and kids like mine are the breaths of fresh air that people that adhere to the status quo really need in their lives, because we show up and we demonstrate to them that there is a freedom in wonder where they're trying to fall in line and follow the rules so they don't ruffle feathers, they don't rock the boat, they don't get in trouble, but they're secretly suffering in silence, begging for an opportunity to be creative. And our kids are the ones to show them the way. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on this. Hope I didn't ramble too much. If this has been useful for you, let me know. And by all means, if there are other people that can benefit from this, please share it with them. And until we talk again, this has been Brian. Thanks for being you.